We should be right on time. All right, so we are live, Litvak Leadership Live, with my special guest, the one, the only, Randy Chaffee. Did I say it right? Chaffee?
Yeah, it was close. It's a long A, but that's okay.
Chaffee. Chaffee, and trust me, when your name is Litvak, you want people to say it right. So
that's true. I get that.
Randy Chaffee, CEO of Source One Marketing. Randy, it's interesting. When we first met, and I was like, "Ooh, he's a CEO," and I'm like gonna get to know this guy.
Yeah, right.
Wow, I'm gonna learn so much from him. So very excited to have our special guest, Randy Chaffee. Say it right, say it strong, say it proud.
There you go, buddy.
Randy is in a very interesting line of work. Today we're going to talk about metal roofs. We're going to talk about the Amish, and we're going to talk about not only leadership, but we're also going to talk about selling in the world in version 2.0, because it's a different kind of place out there. So, but Randy, on top of everything else, let's start with what's okay. Okay, so here, we're going to take one question to start and then move on. What's the biggest screw sale you've had during COVID?
16 million, buddy. 6 million.
16 million screws?
I'm a screwy guy. What can I say?
And how big a building?
Well, that's not for one building. That's just stock for a large customer.
Okay. Because I was walking a facility today that was or is 850,000 square feet. So as I was like looking up and counting ceiling tiles and looking at the plant ceiling, I was like, boy, I wonder how much metal would go up there. Randy would be into this place.
That would be a bunch. I'd have to do the math, but that would be a nice job.
So Randy, one of the coolest things that first impressed me about you when I heard someone else talking about it was your website. ibuyfromrandy.com. So first of all, genius, absolute genius.
Well,
what made you think of that?
Well, and it's also .net too, by the way, just because.
Okay.
But it was funny. As a bunch of my friends on our group get to know me, I'm a little quirky. I'm a little bit strange and odd and weird at times, and I used to say to guys, the only thing you got to remember is you buy from Randy. That's all you need to remember as a customer, right? Is you buy from Randy and go, oh, hell, that ought to be my website. I mean, it was as simple as that. And I test marketed or test floated that with 3 or 4 customers, and they all just laughed and go, that's brilliant.
It is. It's genius.
And because, I've always been, even before a lot of chatting that I've had with a bunch of you great friends that I've developed over the last few months. Right. I've always been interested in branding. That dog. I've always been interested in self-branding, self-promotion.
Right.
Or as I call it, and I call it Randy Inc. Right. I was talking to a buddy of mine that's a younger up-and-coming sales guy, and he works for a manufacturer, but I said, you still have to, in your mind, it's got to be Aaron, Inc. Right? That's the way you have to run your life, because people do buy from us, you, me, Aaron,
yes,
Eric. Right? I mean, the company, the manufacturer, the distributor, whatever is the funnel is the but at the end of the day, as long as you have a good product and fair service, fair price, it's the relationship we buy. So I've always been big in promoting myself. And so ibuyfromrandy.com just made sense. And it went along with my rep agency name a little bit, I felt, which is Source One Marketing, as in I am the one source.
You are the one source.
I buy from Randy. If I ain't got it, you don't need it. Which, if I have my banner up right now, when I do from product videos, I have one of my pull-up retractable banners.
Sure.
And that's one of the little taglines is, if I ain't got it, you don't need it.
So tell me, you're business to business. You're not business direct to consumer, right?
Correct.
Okay. So are you selling to Are you selling from manufacturers to distributors, or from distributors to roofers? Who exactly is your audience?
For the most part, and there's always little caveats to that or asterisks to that, but for the most part, my target customer is I'm a manufacturer's rep, so I rep manufacturers. We sell OEM, if you will, most of my products, like fasteners, for example. I don't sell bags of fasteners to somebody. I sell to a roofer or anybody. I sell boxes and pallets and truckloads.
Right.
Go to the guys that actually roll form the metal, which take flat sheets, roll it through, roll forming equipment, bend the trims, sell it for residential, post frame, agricultural, commercial, whatever. That's my target customer. I deal with a few installers from time to time on certain products, like my stone coated shingle can go through supplier or through a distribution. I will deal a little with consumers, but not much. And I'll do it only if I get a call or something comes through on the website from a consumer. I certainly will call them, take care of them. Where are you at? I'll get you in touch with a dealer. But as far as day-to-day selling to consumers, I don't do that. No, I have in my life, but I don't.
So now what you're selling is, for the most part, because I looked at your website and I've heard you speak, it's really metal roofing and everything related to it, or is it broader than that? And I've just
that's my that's the basic. And that would be if you just asked me that. I think a bunch of us discussed one time, what would be your 10-word intro at a cocktail hour?
Yeah.
I sell components to metal roofing industry. I mean, if that was but it goes beyond that. A lot of products goes into the post frame industry or pole barn industry.
Okay.
So a lot of people in the Midwest, and they would know that industry pretty well. Where poles are put in the ground, trusses set, usually metal roofing and siding, occasionally shingles, but so my products go into that too. I have barn door track, I have the metal shingles, underlayments, but it's all the general construction related industry.
So although I may not look like it, I lived from Chicago, live in suburbia now, but for 16 years I lived in the small town of Laconia, Indiana, actually not far from Kenny Mayberry of Annie's Pizza in Louisville. And the area we lived was so small, we weren't in Laconia proper. We were in unincorporated Laconia.
Okay.
We were so far away from places that the pizza places would not deliver.
Really?
Too far away. So I understand the whole metal roofing thing. We had a barn where when one of the windstorms for one of the hurricanes, I forgot which one it was, came through, ripped it off. We got a new metal barn roof put on. But I've seen some, and I tell you all that to say, I've seen some homes in suburban areas even with metal roofs. Do you recommend that for residential? What are the benefits?
Oh, absolutely. That's the largest growth area I've had, and I cover, for most of these products, 16 states, sometimes 18 states. And my largest growth, I guess, if you will, over the last 8-10 years has been in residential.
Okay.
Post frame, metal frame industry, that's just steady. It just keeps growing. Slowly, steady, mature market. Residential is huge because there's so many different ways to go with metal in residential. You've got your ag panel, your rib panel, like the typical pole barn would get, that will get put on out in the rural environments, fairly often. It's really no more money nowadays than an asphalt shingle. Really? No, it's the lower end, the entry point of metal can be right at an asphalt shingle, and you've got a 40-year paint system. That only means that in 40 years, it's maybe chalking and fading a little bit, but it's not gone away. But then you get into like standing seam roofs, which is something you'd be more familiar with on a commercial building. The ribs are closer together, a little more costly. but those get used often on residential. And then my latest venture into this world has been my stone coated shingle, which is an actual shingle, bigger than an asphalt shingle, but it's a shingle panel,
Right.
nominally 16 inches by 42 inches, and it's stamped to look like a shake or a shingle or a clay tile.
I
And
have
it's
seen
stone coated.
those.
So
I
it's
have
stone
seen
coated,
those.
which means that because one of the biggest things in residential, a lot of times it's this very typical. Either HOAs don't want metal in their HOA
Right.
because they think of pole barn metal.
Right.
Secondarily, I get this from a lot of my installer friends. They say what'll happen is the husband and wife will be talking, the sales guys in talking to somebody about a roof. And
Right.
the husband buys metal one and done. Choose your color carefully because you're never buying another roof.
Right.
Loving it. The wife goes, that's fine, Henry, but you're not putting pole barn steel on my roof. It looks like a hog barn. We're not doing that.
So how does it look different? I mean, when I had my barn done, okay, it was originally the ripple, okay,
Yep.
which was old style. Then it became straight triangle, straight triangle. So, and then I've seen the residential metal that what you said looks like it's stamped like rocks, but that's obviously not the entry level of what regular asphalt should be. So, if I was willing to spend, let's say, 25% more, what would I be getting?
25% more, you would get into maybe 35% more. You would get into either the standing seam panel, which is a little more commercial look, or you can get into the stone coated stamped product. Because the beauty of that is, number one, it's stamped. So rather than ribs that you're talking about, it looks like a shake,
right?
Or it looks like a shingle, or it looks like clay tile. But the beauty of the shake and the shingle, especially, the shingle is the largest seller because it looks like my neighbor's house. It looks like an asphalt shingle. It's got an asphalt shingle roof. You see the granules.
Really?
So it looks like a shingle.
Okay. But it's metal.
Except for it's metal. So it's a lifetime product, a one and done.
So shingles now are 20-year, 30-year, 40-year, etc. A metal roof, you're saying, is 40 years before it starts to fade?
The paint systems on metal, the good paint systems that most of the people are using nowadays are 40-year on the paint. What that means is that you're not going to see any out of character. There's little allowances, right? But chalking and fading, and the fading, the important thing with that is that they fade equal. Fading is not an issue on its own because you don't see that happen. It's over a period of time. So just because it's called delta. So if you took a delta chart up and maybe it faded 3 delta, but that doesn't matter as long as it fades evenly, because you never notice it unless you could go back 15 years and compare it, which you can't. So it's the fade and the chalk. Chalking is that whitish thing that you get on a roof and it washes off. And
and you get the stain like thing.
Yeah, that's chalking. The metals nowadays are the warranty against fading and chalking, and that's a warranty that comes from the paint manufacturers. So it'd be like big people. So it's big people like Valspar, Sherman-Williams, Axel Nobel. All the paints come from 2 or 3 of the major paint companies typically. And the paint manufacturers pass that warranty on to the guys that roll the metal.
So like on an asphalt roof over time, and we're going to jump away from roofs in a minute. But I got one more question. On an asphalt roof, when you see over time how there's like a I'm going to call it a darkening drip, for lack of a better term, anyone who's seen it, do you get that on a metal roof too?
No. You in theory, and it never happens. In theory, any of us in the metal roofing world would tell you that you should clean your roof every couple of years.
Okay. Pressure wash it?
Yeah. Never happens.
Ever.
But what happens with asphalt that creates most of that is the lime and some of the other additives that's in the backer. So it used to be, before oil became cheap, and before they started using all the oil products out of the refineries, they'd have all this sludge and garbage and crap that they would use as filler. Well, since that's not available now, what's happening is there's more fillers like lime and other alternative fillers that's used as the matting before the stones go over it.
Okay.
But what happens is that algae is a lot of it. I mean, there's companies out there that make a living out of cleaning the algae off your roofs.
Okay. So shifting gears here, we got a question from Ray Campbell. What's your best wisdom when coaching young guns coming into a sales career?
Hey, Ray, that's a great question. And it's one I was actually thinking about this morning. Engagement. I have a thing that I posted somewhere the other day. I'm going to do a video on it one of these days called Iced. I made it up, like iced tea.
Okay.
Which incrementally compound engagement daily. And the engagement part, I think, is probably the most important. So many people and young sales guys, they exist. They don't engage.
Right.
You need to engage with your customer. Sales is not a career. It's not a 9 to 5. It's not a 9 to 5. If that's what you want, maybe go sell shoes at a shoe store. And I'm not knocking anybody that sells shoes at a shoe store. All I'm saying is if you want to be in the, quote, professional world of sales, it's not 9 to 5.
No.
You have to engage. Customers have to be part of your life. And, if I get a call at 9:30 in the evening, I take the call because that's my life, right? These people are my friends. And so if you engage with them, you don't have to do the one thing that young guys want to do. And I know you will get this, Sean, and a lot of the guys on here, Ray will get it, Eric will get it. They'll stop selling if they get engaged. The problem is if they're not engaged with the customer, they sell. And as we all have talked about this many times, nobody wants to get sold.
No.
They want to be assisted in buying, right? And young guys make that mistake all day long. Hammer, 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 sell, sell, sell. I told a guy the other day that I told him he should think about ink after his name. I said, I've always been good at sales. It's just something I've always been good at. But I said, when I went from being good to better than good is I stopped selling. I don't sell anybody ever.
You've got to solve problems.
Exactly. Engage, solve problems, bring value, all those little sticks that we all talk about. But so many young guys, and you got to be committed to this is a lifestyle. This is what you do. Like I said, it's not 9 to 5. It's not get into the hotel at 3:30 in the afternoon and change clothes and go sit at the hotel bar till 2 a.m.
No.
It's not. It's
doesn't work.
Last call at 6 o'clock, maybe with dinner with the customer. Drive 5 hours to be at your next spot in the morning so you can take coffee and donuts at 7:30.
Exactly.
Right? That's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle, and you will be okay if you do it the other way. But that okay leads me to another word that I just think is insane. Okay is the same as mediocre.
Yes.
Who gets up in the morning and looks in the mirror and goes, I bet you've never done this, Sean. You've never looked in the mirror and says, Sean, I'm going to be mediocre today.
Yeah.
I'm going to be
Let's
average.
make it a mediocre day.
Let's shoot for C. Maybe C plus if it's a good day. No, but so you got to get up and just, and that's the most important part. I mean, I skipped over something that is probably obvious, but I should probably say it. You got to learn your product. You got to learn your position. But to me, that's study stuff. That's just study stuff. You can learn that. If you made it out of high school somehow, you can probably learn that stuff. What you can learn, but you have to teach yourself and you have to train yourself is to engage, and you got to do it every single day because, I like to talk about wins, right? We all love wins.
We all love wins.
You got to throw wins on this. I talked about this the other day with somebody. Have a little imaginary table, drawer, I don't care what it is, and throw some wins on it every day. A win or two. Just throw a win or two on because they keep piling up. And the more wins you put on, wins have this funny thing about compounding, as does losses, right? And so throw more wins on. The losses, either they're a win, you can turn a loss into a win if you figure out what they did wrong. Maybe it just wasn't meant to be. That's fine. Get rid of it then. Move on. Go find a win. And that's what young guys need to learn And I think guys, old road warriors like Ray and myself, we've learned that the hard way. I'll admit some of the stuff I talk about. I used to have times where I wouldn't mind getting into the hotel at 4 o'clock, kicking back, taking a quick nap, grabbing dinner and a few drinks at the hotel bar. But
Yep.
there's 2 more customers I could have saw that day.
Yeah.
And the first one in the morning, I'm not going to see. Why? Because I stumbled out of bed at 8 o'clock.
Because you're hungover.
And I'm hungover, and I got to drive 2 hours to get there.
So tell me, George brings up a good question. Randy 2.5 hybrid amazing. You be pre-COVID, you spend, I was 100 night a year guy in the hotel. You were how many nights a year?
Oh, 225 probably.
Okay. So, and for those of you who don't work in the service industry, 261 is Monday through Friday. Correct. So 225 is almost every single night, Monday through Friday. I appreciate that number.
Yeah.
And now you're probably you're on the road maybe 2 nights a week. It seems
at best right now. And George, thanks for bringing it up. Good to see you on here, brother. It's funny. I can remember when I coined that concept, not the name, and I'll tell you how I came up with that in a minute, because I'm going to give credit to a couple of our friends on here.
Okay.
But March 17th, I was in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And that's when the world was imploding on us, right?
Oh, yeah.
I was at a meeting that we weren't even sure we was going to have, but we went ahead and had it. Got to the airport. Now watching the TV, and I am watching the TV because I felt like I was living in the apocalypse and I didn't get taken by the aliens. I'm the only one left, right?
Right.
The airport's empty. And not that Tulsa's that big an airport, and I'm watching the news, and you know how it was then. We're all dying. The world's shutting down.
Oh, yeah.
We're never going to leave home ever.
Because the 17th was what? A Monday or a Tuesday?
I can't remember the date now. Might have been a Tuesday or Wednesday maybe, but whatever it was, I just remember that date. That was the date I was flying back home to Southern Florida.
Okay.
So I'm going Tulsa to Atlanta, which is always go through Atlanta. They have my name plaque on there. I'm a resident of Atlanta Airport, where I was, but then to Fort Myers, right? And I knew something was not right here. This is not good. And my world of travel is going to get altered. And I didn't think as long term. But so what am I going to do? I'm a road warrior. I don't know any better. Hell, I can't go anywhere Monday. What am I going to do? So I spent the time waiting, the time on the plane, the time in Atlanta, and the time from Atlanta to Fort Myers, starting to write notes on my iPad about what am I going to do?
Mm-hmm.
And
you saw the writing on the wall, and you're like, okay, I have a feeling I'm not going to be flying and going anymore. How am I going to make this work?
Exactly. Now, did I know what I was doing yet? Not really, but I had an interest in traveling less.
Okay.
And mostly from wear and tear, but I also started to believe, as a bunch of us that communicate often in the Megamind group believe, that Megamind, by the way, check that shirt.
Megamind. Look at that shirt.
Look at that shirt. Is that something? Source One, Megamind.
Megamind.
Boom. Anyway, but I also realized, or started to realize that I realized that I can do more virtually, sitting at home, than I can travel the roads like I try. Because you know how it is traveling the roads. There's a lot of wasted time.
Lot of wasted time. It's unbelievable.
And just massive, just unproductive time. So fast forward, I get home. I say, baby, I'm going to be around for a little bit. She goes, oh, great. Yeah. Anyway, so I sat outside working, calling customers. What's going on? How you been? And hi, Kenneth. And so then I got involved with the Gittimer program.
Yeah.
And his new normal, as he called it. And I've never liked that term. I don't like new normal, old normal. I'm going to bring up something about normal that I don't mind in a minute, give a prop to a bud. But so I bought his course. I said, I need to learn more about this virtual thing, because I'm just a road warrior. I'm a 7:30 in the morning with coffee and donuts. Hey, what's up? Let's go out back and check your inventory. Well, how's the wife and kids? That's been me. So as I find myself 2 or 3 or 4 weeks into this, Sean, it's like, wow, I'm getting a lot done.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not losing anybody. I'm actually, for example, sitting with my iPad. I remember one day when it really struck me how valuable this can be. Is I'm talking to a customer in my AirPods in, right, on the phone. We're talking about potential new product that he might buy from me, not new to me. And as I realized I need to sample him, so I'm typing in as I'm talking to him. And a few minutes in, I said, well, Ruben, I said, I've got a sample already ordered for you. It should be out to you next week, Thursday, Friday. He goes, oh, really? All right. See, it's already on its way, buddy, because I know you're going to love this. We need to talk. I said, can I put it in my calendar right now for Thursday or Friday the following week, give you a chance to get it? He said, yes. So my point of all that is I look very professional and organized to him. But even more importantly, that was done. When I hung the phone up, I have no email to send to get samples. I don't have to go in my calendar to do anything. Right? Now, I can't do that riding down the road. I try in my rental car at 75 mile an hour outside of Buffalo, New York, with a little notepad on my knee, trying to make a note so I don't forget what sample he wants.
Right.
And what day was that? Was that Thursday or Friday? I told him we're going to, you just can't do it. Or you can't do it well.
Yeah. I have found, at first it was, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? But we have figured it out. How to maximize our desk time. So when we are back out on the road, that time is even more efficient. Barry's got a question for you. Do you delegate to your admin and marketing?
Yeah, I do. But one point before I do that, Barry, to what you just said, Sean, is a word I use a lot to myself and to people when I talk to people is augmentation. I don't, it's not because I have some people in my realm of business that fight the idea of virtual. It's not, don't go see anybody. We just can't do it as much and probably don't need to. It's augmenting it. So like you said, when I haven't seen people that I've known for years, went to their kids, 8th grade graduation, the Mennonites or whatever. Now when I go see them, it's an event. Because they haven't seen their old buddy Randy in like 4 months now.
Right.
This is a big deal. When you see him every 2 or 3 weeks, it's like, Randy's here again, right?
Yeah, in my industry, and I think it's like everyone else's too. You would have an introductory meeting,
right?
And then you would go back and really dig into things and do an analysis of what they need. Man, now first meeting, video. There is no need to meet in person at first. We sat and why video? 2 reasons. 1, it's efficient for both of us. And 2, people are at all different levels with their comfortability of getting in front of other people. So you throw out video to start, you're making people feel good, or they're like, what's this person all about? At least in my opinion. I mean, I'm sure you found the same thing.
Oh, I agree. And we'll get back to berries in a minute. That's a good question, but I find myself now probably 50 to maybe pushing 60% of the emails or texts that I send are videos, because I find it so much easier. Hey, Ruben, how'd that sample look? You just type it. It's not a big deal. He gets 1,000 of those a day, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if I pop up on the screen, Ruben, what's up, bud? Hey, how'd the sample look? Give me a call. Hey, by the way, tell your wife and kids I said, hey. Total different, right? Totally different relationship. We just the way we communicated. Now we communicated as friends and buddies. And he sees that I was happy, I was smiling, I was glad to talk to him. Half the time you can't read a text and know if it was good or bad, really, right?
No.
So, but I know Barry asked about admin and delegating. I'm lucky in my agency. What I do is I keep myself almost 100% of the time, that's my goal, just working with customers.
Sure.
So, my wife, luckily, Dixie, the Dixie chick, she runs the office. She manages all the back end stuff. I do nothing. And then I have a marketing assistant that works full time for me. That's going to become / customer service rep.
Okay.
But she does my I'll video do my BombBomb. I use BombBomb, but I'll do my videos. She has access. She goes in. Sometimes says, Randy, redo that, you dummy. That looks stupid, but that's okay. So then she'll take care of those. She's got templates made up for each manufacturer. She takes care of sending them out. She does a lot of that stuff. My next thing I'm going to have her do, Barry, is work as I develop some other products up in the Northeast. I have to do a little more research because it's going into a market that I don't know quite as well. And so she's going to do a lot of that research, that reach out. I'll still be the one that eventually, she's going to turn from a cold call, or not even a cold call, to a who in the hell are you call.
Sure.
A cold call to, hey, I'm going to have my boss Randy give you a call. He's really knowledgeable in this industry. He'd love to chat with you. And she's going to do that both with video and with just on the phone. So I'm learning to delegate more. But that's a great question because, and I know Ray Campbell, our friend Soup, will say, when you're an old road warrior like us, that's probably the toughest thing to do is to delegate because we want control.
I hate depending on others.
Exactly. And you put it in Sean's,
but
you
I
have your way, I have my way. I know that you'll get the I buy from Randy treatment from me. I don't know that you're going to give it though, right? That's
right.
And that's concerning because you build your livelihood on these people wanting to buy from you. So it's a little scary.
But... So as we wrap up, yes. Great comment here from the one and only Eric Bam. Seriously, one of the best things that came from COVID for me is my friendship with Randy. He's an amazing human, great leader, and wicked smart.
Oh, man. Eric, he wrote that exactly the way I sent it to him. That's amazing.
Exactly how you sent it to him. I mean, I will tell everyone that in the group that we are in together, Megamind, we'll send each other videos and group videos and using Facebook Messenger and technology. And Randy is not as prolific a poster as some, but when Randy speaks, everybody listens. So Randy, we've gone a full 32 minutes.
Wow.
And it has felt like 10. So why don't you take the next couple minutes and tell everyone a parting word of encouragement?
The parting word of encouragement would be this. We're this COVID-19 thing and everybody's got differing opinions, differing political views, differing, right? The bottom line is some things just are what they are, and winners will win and losers will lose. And so we find ways to win regardless of what's thrown at us. And that's, I think, what all of us did and found ourselves in this group together and wandered in somehow. I mean, I don't even know how in the hell we ever came together. I mean, I'm not sure we could ever figure that out. It's almost like it should have never happened, but it did, right? Because
something to do with pepperoni.
It's got to do with pepperoni, and pineapple. I know that's how I met Eric Bam first, was pineapple on a response on a Gitmer thing one day. But anyway, the words of encouragement is this: world is not over. It's strong, and it's going to come back stronger. Yeah. And the thing is that I tell my granddaughter, who's 22 and pregnant, God, it makes me old. Anyway, and yes, Sean, I am going to be a grandpa, so don't grandpa jokes. Oh, great grandpa jokes. Anyway, as I tell her, there's a cream rises to the top, as they say, as an oldie but goodie still. There's also less competition sometimes because so many people have given up. They've tossed in the towel. Life's going to suck. And I say, if I may be so brutally blunt here, bullshit. It's not going to suck. It doesn't suck. And if you want it to, or you allow it to, so it all comes back down to my final word on that is when you get up in the morning and you look in the mirror, that goofy grin, and you laugh at yourself and you say, I am going to have my best day ever until tomorrow.
Until tomorrow.
And then you go do it. That's it. Just go do it. Simple as that. It really is not more complicated than that. But I'm simple-minded, so.
Ever until I'm writing this down tomorrow. Oh, the knowledge I am gaining from my guests. So,
and do not be mediocre.
Can't even pronounce the word. Don't
I
want
like the word. It sounds cool coming up. Well, Sean, one thing
Okay.
Really, I wanted to say, because I think it was funny. You said you grew up in a small town.
Well, I lived in a small town. Didn't grow up there.
I haven't grown up, period. But I spent my early years in a town of 1,201 people, a little farm town in mid-Michigan. And when I left, my ex and my two little boys, and we left, they could see the little sign flipping from 1201 to 1197 or whatever it was. I mean, it was just, I know I grew up in small towns. I know them. Not a bad spot to be for a while. But Sean, thank you for the time having me on, man. It's been awesome.
Thank you, thank you. So, hey, everybody, if you're looking for a metal roof, I buy from Randy.com. He will not sell you the metal, but I bet if you, and I haven't cleared this with him, but if you send him a message and say, hey, I live in this city, who should I be talking to? He will point you in the right direction to a roofer that can talk to you and will be fair and honest.
Absolutely.
True. Go to ibuyfromrandy.com. Randy, thank you so much for your wit, your wisdom, your insight. And it was just a lot of fun, man.
It's a good time, buddy. I appreciate what you do, brother.
All right. Everyone have a blessed day.
Yeah. Cheers, all.